This is the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. Welcome to the program. A good Thursday afternoon to all of you, wherever you are in the great US of A or anywhere in the world. Hope your day is going as well as it is for me. I mean, I just rolled out of bed a little bit ago, but that's the perks of working an overnight shift, I guess. You can sleep till 1 and not feel guilty about it because I still got my token 6 hours of sleep today, like I'm sure most of you did as well. Great show coming up for you today. David Kenyon of Bleacher Report will be here with us a little bit later on. Connor Christensen finally returns to the show as well. He'll have his fitness tip for us. Mitch Vomhof of Bucksketball.com will be in as well to talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks. And a good, long-lost friend of the show will be joining us in just a moment, but we'll get to that, so don't go anywhere. Real quick, though, we want to remind all of you that you can find the BG Sports Show right here on Sports Radio America from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time on sportsradioamerica.com and on TuneIn, and then you can also find it live from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time, Mondays and Thursdays right here on Spreaker.com. And you can get it on demand anytime you want to on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and as I mentioned on Spreaker.com. For you that love social media like our first guest does, you can find the BG Sports Show on Facebook, and you can also follow us on Twitter at BG Sports Show, and you can follow myself at Baxter Colburn. And you can find us also on the email world by sending us a note at bgsportshow@gmail.com. A lot of great things to get to today, as we always have on the show. A big guest list always. And our very first guest is someone that, number one, I haven't talked to in months, but number two, hasn't been on the show in, good Lord, probably longer than that. But she's not Howler Magazines anymore. She's officially Kick TV's social media savant. We are welcoming back Sonya Kondratenko to the program. So, Sonya, hello. I have missed you.
Hi, I've missed you. So happy to be back.
Absolutely. So you got to tell us a little bit here. You were with Howler. You're at Kick now. What exactly happened?
Oh, man. Well, I still love Howler. I'm still involved. They are great people, wonderful family. But I have made the jump. I do work at Kick TV now. I love it. I'm over here as a part of the social team, and I work with a very crazy and great, creative, talented bunch.
Considering some of the people that I've seen you in pictures with, I'm like, oh yeah, she's definitely working with some characters there. But they're all good characters there, obviously.
It's the best. It's so much fun. We all, love soccer, and that, what more? I don't even know what more to say. Like, we love soccer, and you put a bunch of people that are crazy about a game in a room together to make content all day. Crazy things happen.
As we've noticed, with some of the crazy social media things that you guys do. Now, I know, Sonya, the last time that we talked, it was months ago. The Gold Cup was going on, and you were eating ice cream. That was the last time that I think we talked here on the show. But so obviously, a few things have changed since then, and you've done a little bit of traveling as well since that point in time. I feel like you're in England almost every other day.
I think I've been to England 3 times since then.
Holy cow.
For about a month total, although the last trip was about a week ago, and I was there for a whopping 4 days in Manchester. Yeah. Normally, I try to stay for as long as I can. It's like a good 2-week trip,
sure.
2.5-week trip. Try to get it in there when I can. But I was in Manchester for 4 days with a side trip to lovely, glamorous Wolverhampton to go see the Wolves play.
Sure.
Yeah, that for me, I really actually like the Wolves. I saw a photo of the stadium, of one of the stands years ago, and I was like, one day I will go there, and I had an opportunity to go, and I took the train to Wolverhampton, and it was one of the greatest moments in my life.
Wow. Holy cow. See, you are one of those people that I feel like when it's all said and done, you need to write a book because of all of the travels that because you've already seen so much, and last I checked, you're right around my age, last I heard.
I think I'm 26. I'll be 27 this summer.
So you've got 2 years on me, but even still, though, you've seen quite a lot though for your time in the professional world.
Soccer has been really great to me in a personal level and a professional level. It's given me so many experiences and so many friends and so many opportunities. Even just doing MLS away days, like DC away, go somewhere that I haven't really been to before. When I can with my friends. And then every now and then do a trip for work or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So what exactly is a typical day at work for you? I'm sure it's an ever-changing scenario, but I'm curious to know what the social media mind of Sonya does on a daily basis.
Oh, man. Typical day at work is get to the office, eat some breakfast, Food first.
We all know that you love tacos.
I do love tacos. Oh, I do love tacos, and that's like a whole nother show we could do. I haven't had any breakfast tacos at the office, though. Maybe I should change that.
Really? Wow.
No, not yet. But I eat breakfast to kind of patrol the soccer news.
Sure.
For everything from like the serious to the like skanky English tabloids, like taking all the news, check out what players have been posting on their social media, think about what, like, if we have like today's Europa League, so we'll plan out like everything that needs to be posted for Europa League, what time is it going to go out, you know, because most of the time we have content kind of already set. So when we do Champions League, we'll have graphics already made for Champions League, and as it gets closer to match time, we will post the graphics. And just like it's a lot of planning and a lot of just perusing the internet and monitoring our own social channels.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, as you see all the different avenues, there's so many things, especially with soccer now, too. There's so many different ways you can find out the information that you're looking for, whether it be from an official source or from a shady back page of an English tabloid, as you mentioned, which sometimes those are the best stories, though, that people might just need to hear a little bit about, which is fantastic. Well, the upcoming MLS season is just near 10 days away, Sonya.
Oh, I can't believe it.
I feel like it was just yesterday that Portland was hoisting the trophy, and now here they are. Well, and you were at that game, too.
I kind of had all these like hopes and dreams for off season. I'm like, when I have weekends that I'm not going to games, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go do that.
Oh,
and there are weekends where I'm just gonna like watch Netflix, and I don't think I fulfill a lot of those.
I was going to say, every time at least that I see you posting on social media, or I'll like reach out to you and be like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm traveling here. Oh, I'm traveling there. I'm like, Sonya, it's 4 a.m. What are you doing? It's like, geez.
I was in Portland over the weekend for preseason, which was a lot of fun. And I think that if I was going to do preseason somewhere, I'm happy that it was Portland because the atmosphere holds up. Like, that stadium was pretty packed.
That's what I heard, yeah, even though it was like preseason games.
Yeah, as much as I would love to go to Florida and chill in the sun and see some preseason out there, like, the fans and the atmosphere, not so great. But Portland was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I've been to preseason games down in Florida as well, in that Bradenton, Clearwater, IMG Academy area. And the fan turnout is never that great, regardless of the big names that might be there, because as we know, that's where like New York City FC and other big clubs usually go down and train. But it's funny to see that the turnout usually is not that great, but it's interesting to know that Portland is such a hotbed for preseason soccer, too.
Yeah, no, it was great. They were, like, working on the TIFO in a warehouse. I got to go by and check out, like, kind of supporters' headquarters and just talk with a whole bunch of people from Twitter that I've kind of been interacting with. I haven't been out to Portland in a little over a year, so
wow, okay.
I got the lowdown on like all kinds of cool new supporter stuff that's happening, and it's just really great to be back.
That's fantastic. Wow, talking with Sonya Kondratenko here of Kick TV here on the BG Sports Show. Well, Sonya, before we let you roll, I mean, I know we talk about soccer, which is fantastic, and I know we love soccer. So we'll do this two things here. First, what are your upcoming soccer plans here for the next coming weeks? Are you any other travels? What do we got going on?
Oh man, I will be MLS first kick. I'll be at Red Bulls Toronto at Red Bull Arena. My beloved DC United is in LA, and going to LA was not realistic for me.
Fair enough.
I am in New York for almost a month, I believe. So I'll be at Red Bulls Toronto.
Okay.
I think maybe I will go to DC's home opener against Colorado Rapids, I believe March 20th. Scheming on a couple little, trips. I kind of do want to get back to England before the end of the season. I have some things I want to cross off the list. I'm really excited for Copa America. Definitely excited for Euros too, but Copa America is going to be great. It's going to be here in our own backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a very crucial summer of soccer in the United States, and we're going to grow the game.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's one thing a lot of folks are excited about, is the fact that it's like, well, the U.S. is playing in a tournament. Oh, that's great, but it's actually going to be in our backyard, which is, if you can't find a way to get to one of the 10 host cities, you need to figure it out now. Just get out there. There's games down in Chicago. I'm going to do my best to get down there. for at least 1 or 2 games, and I know the U.S. plays there for at least one of them, so I'm going to do my darndest to get down there and catch at least one game. So, all right, well, last question I got to ask you because I'd be remiss if I didn't. What's your go-to taco stand right now in New York?
Oh, go-to taco stand. Oh, man.
If you could give a shameless plug for your local taco truck there.
I alternate because I try to not frequent the same one a ton of times so that I can go and try new tacos, because I have embarked on a new project where on my Instagram this year, every single Tuesday I post tacos from a different taco spot. I'm not repeating.
Wow.
I'm not repeating at all.
It's quite a challenge. Has it worked out so far?
It has. It's a little tricky every now and then when I'm hard for time and I'm like, I've eaten every taco in the financial district where our office is. Like, I have to go figure out somewhere else.
Or you got to start like calling in favors, be like, look, can you bring me tacos? Because I'm really busy today.
Yeah, I know. I might have to get on that delivery tip. There's a great spot that's not, they don't have the most traditional tortilla. It's a little thicker. It's called Otto's Tacos. They actually reposted one of my photos on Instagram this morning, and I had a little fangirl moment because that's like my go-to late-night taco. It's close.
Okay.
When I get off the train from Red Bull Arena and it's like after a game and I haven't eaten anything, I go and get a shrimp taco, some guacamole. Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. You're making me hungry now. I was going to say, you're making me hungry now. I might just end the show right now and go eat tacos, honestly. Holy cow. Well, fantastic. Well, Sonya, thank you. Our time is never long enough, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy day to chat with us here on the show.
No, thank you so much for having me back.
You're very welcome. All right, next time you're in Chicago or the great state of Wisconsin, let me know. We'll have to actually do this in person sometime.
And we'll get some tacos,
yes,
obviously.
Yes, I know a few places actually around the area now, so we'll have to go do that.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, Kick TV, Sonya Kondratenko. Always a pleasure, Sonya. We'll talk with you again in the future. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, we're going to run to a break. When we come back, David Kenyon of Bleacher Report will be here talking about the Cleveland Browns and all the dismay that goes with the Cleveland Browns. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. Remember, if you want to get at the show, you can find us on Facebook, the BG Sports Show. You can find myself at Baxter Colburn on Twitter, and the show is at BG Sports Show as well. I just chatted with Kick TV's Sonya Kondratenko about the upcoming MLS season and her many trips around to England and the great United States and the local taco trucks as well. That's easy for me to say. Goodness. So you can go and check her out on social media at Sonya Karate. Go and check her out in her wonderful Twitter and Instagram posts on everything that she does, not only about the soccer world, but about tacos and other food-related things as well. All right, well, David Kenyon is here to chat with us about one of the most historic franchises in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. David, sir, I feel like we could spend hours just talking about what such a great franchise the Cleveland Browns are.
And it all starts with the draft.
Yes, it does. Great segue, David. Wow, nicely done.
I try.
So the draft, David. Now that you mentioned it, wow, thank you for mentioning the draft. What the heck are the Browns going to do, or what should they do, and what more than likely will they end up doing?
Well, what they should do is quite simply take the best player on their board, whether that's a quarterback or not. And we got a little insight into what the Browns are thinking. Hugh Jackson made the smart call to not say that they were focused on a quarterback with their first or second pick in the draft. But we know that they're going to draft a quarterback. He said as much. So it leads us to believe, and the Cleveland Plain Dealer reported as well, they're probably going to take it with the number 2 overall pick. So you're looking at a new quarterback in Cleveland, not necessarily to start right away, but one who will get drafted number 2 this year.
I was going to say, you'd have to have the thought, though, in the back of your mind that if they draft a quarterback that high, at least you'd have to think in some people's minds that they would look for him to start, though.
Sure, and that's been the expectation that we've, I guess, created in the NFL today. Many people don't remember that a lot of quarterbacks who are successful at this point, they weren't starting right away.
True.
They waited a year or two before they took over. And so you have a guy in McCown who's there, and he wasn't awful, and the Browns aren't going to win a Super Bowl whether it's a rookie or not.
True. There's just there's a lot of things they're still missing.
Exactly. So you don't have to have your rookie come in right away. You can develop him for a year and go from there. And Hugh Jackson, a lot of people may not know or not remember, he was the quarterbacks coach for the Baltimore Ravens when they drafted this kid named Joe Flacco.
Oh, okay.
And Flacco's kind of turned out to be a Super Bowl champion.
He has.
So
he has.
Jackson knows what he's doing.
Do we have an inkling of who might start in Cleveland then next year if it's not their new rookie?
It just have to be McCown. There's no veteran on the market that they would go after to replace him, I can't imagine. And there's no sense in bringing a young guy because then you're just asking for ridiculous controversy next year. Not
True.
that there necessarily would be one, but it's McCown or a rookie, and most likely McCown.
And McCown's not the worst option, obviously he didn't have a stellar season last year, and I know he was back and forth with injuries as well too, but he's not the worst option if you had to pick somebody.
Yeah, but you're obviously looking for an upgrade over him, and that's what they'll be doing. They're the main guys on the board in play for that number 2 spot, because unless the Titans trade out of number 1, they're obviously not going to take a quarterback with Marcus Mariota entrenched there. So you're looking at Carson Wentz from North Dakota State, Jared Goff from California, and Paxton Lynch from Memphis.
Who has the best opportunity, do you think, to excel in what the Browns are trying to do offensively?
And it's tough because everything with them is a projection. You're not looking at a clear-cut number 1 guy. You're not looking at a safe pick necessarily. Jackson had said what he's looking for is a quarterback with big hands, and that sounds silly, and it can be a very silly thing if it's not taken in the proper context, because there is a threshold. It's considered 9 inches. If you don't have anything more than 9-inch hands, you typically do not succeed in the NFL. Now,
interesting.
That is not a perfect indicator of success. Nothing ever is.
No. But it certainly helps, though.
Correct, because you're talking about gripping in poor weather, wind, tighter spiral, everything like that. Any bit of control a quarterback can have, that's great. But again, it's not a perfect indicator because you look at Jared Goff, who measured in today with 9-inch hands, and Paxton Lynch, who had 10 1/4. Lynch had 7 fumbles. Goff had 4.
Interesting.
Goff had trouble throwing in the wind. Lynch had less. So
gosh. Okay.
You just have to weigh everything carefully. You have to take those hands into account.
Yes.
But you don't put your entire stock into it.
Exactly, and that's the hard. For local listeners here around the Milwaukee area, they'll remember that Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers both have fairly good-sized hands, and I think that's one thing, at least Brett Favre, that I remember as a kid growing up going to the Packers Hall of Fame. There was the hand mold on the wall, and you could, compare your hand to Brett Favre. And I remember Favre having, obviously, a huge hand. Obviously, I was a kid at the time, but it was bigger than even my dad's hand at the time, so I was like, wow, okay, I'm like, Brett Favre's not messing around. He can definitely grip the ball incredibly tight.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked it up because I was curious. Favre measured in at 10 3/8. I mean,
Okay.
That is a massive hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's probably why he could throw. I mean, obviously, he just had very good shoulder strength, but he could grip that ball and whip it around like nobody's business because of that as well.
Exactly.
Do we know, I mean, since you're in front of your Googling this, do we know who's got the biggest hand in the league right now, or bigger hands in the league?
In the league, I mean, I could get back to you on that.
That's your homework for next show.
I know Kawhi Leonard has near 11-inch hands for the San Antonio
Holy
Spurs
cow.
in the NBA.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's whew. Holy cow.
His nickname is the Claw, so
Okay, then I understand where that comes from then. Goodness. Talking with David Kenyon here at Bleacher Report on the VG Sports Show. Well, David, before we let you go, aside from a quarterback, I mean, is there anything else we all know that Cleveland needs the help, but is there any specific position or any other players that if they didn't go for a quarterback right away that maybe might help fill some gaps?
Well, you're looking at offensive linemen. The Titans have a very good option at Laramie Tunsil from Ole Miss. He's a left tackle. He can go plug and play there.
Sure.
If the Titans trade out of that spot or pick someone else, I would strongly consider picking Tunsil if I'm Cleveland, unless they are convinced that one of the quarterbacks is their man. Because Joe Thomas, he's slowly working his way out of Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's
noticeable.
Left tackle, and then center Alex Mack may opt out of his contract. So Cleveland's, and I think Mitchell Schwartz is a free agent too. So Cleveland's strength is becoming a weakness very quickly, potentially. And then their defense is, it just needs help everywhere.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, and their kick. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, they just need a lot of help.
They do, and I think that's been a Cleveland's problem for a long time, too. So, all right. Well, David, thank you so much for taking the time today on the program. Where can people check out your writing and find you on social media?
You can find me on Bleacher Report and catch me on Twitter at Kenyon19_BR.
Fantastic. David Kenyon of Bleacher Report. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to jump to a break. When we come back, Connor Christensen's got his fitness tip for us. We'll see what he's got in store for us and how you can possibly get back in the gym or just lose a little bit of weight in your free time. We'll be right back on the BG Sports Show. Welcome back to the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. Joining me now in the studio is Connor Christensen. Welcome to the show, Connor. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Glad to be back on the show.
Absolutely. So it's been a while since we've had you for fitnessy tips and for fight corners, and we've got a new fitness tip today, sir. So what do you have in store for us today?
Well, lately I've been getting a lot of cardio-based questions. So first of all, the first question I'm going to answer is, should I do cardio before or after my workout?
Oh, good question.
The second question is, how long should my cardio workout be? And there are multiple answers there, so pay attention. And then the third question will be, can I go in the sauna instead of doing cardio?
Oh, three very interesting questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, walk us through them then. Here, we'll start with number one then.
So the question was, should I do cardio before or after my workout? And generally, it, like with any other aspect of fitness, it all depends on your goals. But typically, I like to do cardio at the end of my workout because I lift weights during my workouts. So I will get the heart going, work the muscle in the way that I'm trying to get my muscles to get bigger and stronger. And then afterwards, I will try to burn some fat because contrary to popular belief, weightlifting does not burn fat really. Like it does, but if you're trying
not
to lose
as quickly though.
Yeah, if you're trying to lose weight, lifting weights is not going to be as helpful as going for a run or going for a walk or
Makes
something.
sense. That's why runners are skinny usually.
Exactly. So when you get the metabolism going by lifting weights, you're priming the muscle, and then when you do cardio at the end, it kind of prolongs this calorie burning. So if I did cardio before the workout and then did all my weightlifting and everything, my body's kind of calmed down from the cardio. So instead of doing that, doing it at the end, letting my body continue to be worked up and continue to burn calories for up to hours after my workout. Most people would like to burn calories without needing to do anything.
That would be nice. Yeah, I think that's one of the many questions I'm sure you hear on a weekly basis. It's like, how can I lose weight without doing anything? It's like, well, there's a few different things, but probably not anything that you're going to want to hear.
Exactly. That's
surgery.
Always...
You can pay lots of money for surgery, but we don't recommend that.
I have seen people. A coworker of mine actually just got lap band surgery. So,
really?
Yeah. He's probably lost a good 70 pounds. But
wow,
your stomach literally gets smaller. That's a whole other fitness tip for a whole other day.
Wow. Okay.
Moving into the second question, how long should my cardio workout be? Now, if you're playing soccer, and we always hated it at the end of soccer, we had to do cardio at the end of soccer. We had to run sprints and do all of that. Those types of cardio workouts are only going to be 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, they should be. They should be. Yes, I agree. It depends on the coach, but yes, I agree.
It depends on how nice your coach is or how bad you guys did in the game before or whatever.
Very true.
But generally, 10 minutes, and that's a good number if you've already been doing very cardio-esque activities like playing football or playing sports and then doing your cardio after you're done with your sport. That's a good 10-minute range. But if I'm weightlifting, I'll cardio for 15-20 minutes afterwards.
What are your typical cardio workouts that you like to do?
My personal favorite is rowing. I love to do rowing machines because it works my back. I always like to work out my back, and the rowing itself it works so many different muscles, and it's a great way to lose weight that isn't so mundane. Like a lot of people I hate running on the treadmill because I just sit there and I run and whatever, and I've never gotten bored rowing. Like it's really, really difficult. So it depends on how, because I generally try to row for about 200 meters to 2,000
I was going
meters.
to say 200 meters isn't very long, but okay.
2,000 to 3,000 meters, and that generally... it's been a while since I've done that.
15 minutes?
Nah, it takes a little longer than that. Because you have to think that when you row, it is also taking into account like the splash, or they call it the splash. It's like after you row, you don't just stop. You continue to move. So the machine actually takes that into account. So you kind of go 7-8 meters
a stroke?
Yeah, pretty much. So you have to... 2,000, 3,000 meters that's all.
Takes a couple hundred strokes there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's also over a mile. So it's something to kind of put it in perspective.
Sure.
Running is also always going to be a really, really good one. I prefer the elliptical myself because it's not as hard on your knees as a treadmill can be. And a lot of if someone is overweight trying to lose, 50, 60 pounds or whatever it is, then you can do a lot of damage to the knees.
What about I've seen the stepper machines?
Yep, that was going to be the next one I recommend.
I remember having a small version of those when I was at my house growing up. My mom had just a little stepper that she would do little stepper workouts on, and she'd lift weights or something while she was stepping and stuff too, all kinds of stuff. So
that's actually a really good workout.
Is that good? Okay, yeah,
absolutely. Anytime you can combine multiple exercises into one, that's always really good.
I don't know if I'm coordinated enough to do that.
Hey, you get
stepping and lifting.
You get better with practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen also those little what is it? It's just air pressure, I think, that causes the stepper on something like that. One of the cheaper ones. But if you go to an actual gym, they actually have
a full scale.
Yeah, it's like a treadmill but with steps.
Yeah,
it's stairs that it's like an escalator.
I've seen people try to sprint up those because it's almost like a quick escalator, and they try to run up the stairs fast.
And you can change the speeds and everything on it. So I mean, it's a great workout. But I've never seen the point of trying to sprint up steps. And they actually,
unless someone's chasing you, I don't know if you ever get a chance to run up there.
That's true.
It's kind of sorry to deviate too fast. It's kind of like the age-old like myth where it's like you're going up a set of stairs and you always feel like someone's like chasing you or there's something like coming up behind you. Like, I gotta get up the stairs. It's like I still might do that occasionally. I'm just I like 2 and 3 up the stairs because I got longer legs. I'm just like, all right, upstairs, inside, quickly, close the door.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have shorter legs. I still like to go 2 or 3 up the stairs. Just
I can't remember the last time I went step by step. I usually skip at least one.
Well, I think we did that once when we were running stairs back in college.
You're right.
Yeah, that was.
I felt weird. I'm not used to touching all these stairs on the way up and down of stairs.
It was unnatural.
It was.
And painful. Very,
I
very
wasn't
painful.
a huge fan of that workout.
Yeah. It was a good workout. It just we didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, moving on from that, we're going to go into the last question, which was, can I just go into a sauna for cardio? Now, the thought behind it kind of makes sense because a sauna raises your
I was going to say, is it more so from a sweat perspective, or is it? Okay.
So you can actually lose weight. A lot of sports where you lose weight, like wrestling, especially, is famous for doing sauna. Just sitting in a sauna after a workout, you're already burning calories, so heat up more and sweat more, lose more weight, whatever. But it depends on what your goal is. Again, for the exercise, because if your goal is to simply lose weight, then going into a sauna is. That is definitely a good tool to lose weight. But if you do cardio, first off, you'll lose weight faster. And second of all, you will work several other parts of your body. So first of all, your muscles are being worked now. When you actually do the exercise, your muscles are getting stronger. The second aspect is your heart has to work harder to pump blood, so your heart gets stronger.
That makes sense, sure.
And the third one is your respiratory system. Your lungs become stronger. They become more efficient at sending oxygen to your heart. And then, technically it's all the pulmonary arteries. Never mind. We don't have
to.
We don't have to get into that. But you're not working your cardiorespiratory systems. You're not working your musculature or anything like that when you just sit in a sauna. So sitting in a sauna is fine, but cardio.
I'm curious now because you may have seen this on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. I had the opportunity to try hot yoga for the first time.
I saw that you did it.
It was interesting. Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about it. I feel like this kind of works with the whole sauna thing because, it was a regular – I had never done, professional yoga or whatever, actually in a class. You make fun of it in the bathroom mirror or whatever. But
it's great exercise.
It is, and that's the thing. Like I certainly had good exercise, but it was obviously in heightened temperature. I think it was at least 100 degrees in the room or something.
Must have been sweating bullets.
It was weird because of being raised in Florida, because of all the conditioning and stuff that I did in Florida, even though it's been a few years, my body reverted to that quickly, which was nice. And then it obviously got a little overwhelmed after a while, but it was weird to see how fast my body adjusted to it. It was like, oh, we're used to this. We're used to being hot. But does something like hot yoga where you sweat just buckets and you're working out, but you're not like crazy exerting yourself. You're exerting yourself, but in a different facet, though. Is that another good way to lose weight if you need to?
It definitely is a great way to lose weight, but because you're combining the weight loss of the sauna with the muscle stretching of yoga. Yeah. So I'm assuming you weren't doing any hardcore like muscle building yoga, which there is. Oh yeah, muscle building yoga, which is.
It was a lot of different poses, a lot of different stretches as you were.
That's very good. I would recommend not doing super extensive work when you're in that heightened temperature in the sauna like conditions, because you run the risk of going into heat stroke. And
and there was water breaks, and they told us to take the water when we needed to and stuff, which was helpful. I mean, I went through 2 bottles of water while I was in there. It was a 90-minute session, so it was. Oh wow! Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that going in. I was like, it'll probably be like 45, 50 minutes, and I kept looking at my watch. I'm like, It's over an hour. It's an hour and 20. Oh, God. How long do we have left?
45 minutes is long for yoga.
Yeah.
For
me, for being the first time going into it, I was purposely not told how long it was. I don't know. Either way. But it was.
Well, question for you.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yes, but I don't know if I would go back to the same place that I did. My wife has been to different hot yoga places before, and she said that the one that we just went to, it was just one teacher kind of like in the back of the room saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and everybody just kind of did it. But the other one that she's been to, she preferred more so, is more of like a nice soft music, and the teacher actually does it with you, and it's more so about, getting the pose instead of just like trying to book through the exercises. And that's kind of what it felt like. It felt more like an exercise than actually trying to relax and find your inner chi or whatever.
That is one of the benefits of yoga is doing that slow, relaxed, especially with the instructor. You can connect with them. And
and I definitely would try it out again, I feel like.
All right.
But I just have to find a different
cool
place to do it. So. All right, well, Connor, thank you for joining me today on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got more action here on the BG Sports Show. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back to the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. In a moment, we'll get a chance to speak with one of the more distinguished writers in the basketball world here in the Milwaukee area, Mitch Vomhof of Bucksketball.com. But first, we want to take a minute to remind all of you that you can find us on social media by going to our Facebook page and liking us by going to the BG Sports Show. You can also find us on Twitter at BG Sports Show and myself at Baxter Colburn. If you ever want to email the show, you can find us at bgsportshow@gmail.com. All right, with all that being said, it is time to talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks with Bucksketball's very own Mitch Vomhof. Good day to you, Mitch. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Baxter. How are you today?
Fantastic, sir. Well, we got to just get right into it, Mitch. The Milwaukee Bucks, I don't even have words, honestly. This season, I've never seen a team so hyped in such a long time, and then to be where they are right now. And not to say that the Bucks are completely gone and dead to society, but I don't think 24-33 is where folks thought they were going to be at this point in the season.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely been a step back, you would say, from a really surprising season last year that nobody really expected.
No kidding.
To have an underdog team.
Yeah, and it's really hard because this going into this season, everybody was saying, well, this is going to be a really, quote unquote, good team this year. They've got Greg Monroe. They've got Jabari Parker coming back. Giannis looks like he's starting to get his act together. We've seen flashes of that throughout the year, but I don't feel like where they are right now in the division is a true representation of, I think, where they thought they would be at this point in the year.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. And there were a couple things that people could point to. Last year in a lot of ways was kind of an overperformance, I would say, against the real talent level of that team.
Sure.
And so this year you'd almost look at it as a little bit of a regression. Obviously they did make some big steps. You mentioned Greg Monroe, who hasn't quite worked out in the way they hoped he would. And so I think we're definitely seeing some kind of regression back to a mean of sorts.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you on that one. So we've seen Jabari Parker kind of step out and finally get to play more than just those few games that he played during his rookie season. What are your thoughts on how the technically, because it's still kind of his rookie year because he's still working to play that first amount of games. So what's the young guy done so far this season that may or may not have impressed you?
I mean, Jabari, I think he's still under what you would call technically a full season of play. I think he's probably around 70 games at this point. And, we've seen some ups and downs, as you would kind of expect from a rookie. I mean,
absolutely.
In the first couple months, November, December, even into January a little bit, you could definitely tell he's still kind of adjusting to the game, and while also getting the strength back under him from an ACL injury.
Yes. Yep.
But it's definitely been promising. especially in February this year, to watch him bust out and actually to watch the progression from the beginning of the year into where he is now. And he's really starting to round into form, where he started out the year averaging under 10 minutes and 10 points and 4 rebounds a game, to here in February he's up to 14 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting to see, he's definitely still got the athleticism they had expected coming out of school. He's gaining an awareness of, he's still kind of bad on the defensive end, but he's definitely gaining an awareness of where he should be and what he needs to do. That's definitely improving. So I would say there's still obviously some of the season left, and it'll be interesting to see how he finishes out, especially considering he doesn't have, he's still working through that quote-unquote full season. But I think there are definitely reasons to be encouraged after, a lot of people were disappointed with his first initial showing.
Talking with Mitch Vomhof here of Bucksketball.com about the Milwaukee Bucks. Mitch, you mentioned Jabari Parker. He's averaging right around 30 minutes a game right now. I do find it interesting, though, that the last couple of games we've seen him on the court a little bit longer, and he's done fairly well. We've seen him score over 24 points kind of consistently the last couple of weeks here. Is that just because he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable on the floor now, or are all the nerves, going away, or is it just happened to be that night where shots were falling for him?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. Is the comfort on the court. It's also worth noting that he hit towards the end of I believe it's towards the end of January, past the full kind of 1-year anniversary of the ACL tear, which is a fairly well-regarded benchmark as to when an athlete actually really recovers fully from that injury.
Yes, yep.
So I think we're seeing a really fully healthy Jabari Parker, who's getting to play with his teammates and really understanding his role on the team. Getting out there and playing, some good basketball like you expected with him coming out as a fairly polished rookie.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, you were talking about different teammates as well. We mentioned Greg Monroe in passing, Mitch. Do you at this point we've had a pretty good amount of time to assess the Greg Monroe project, if you want to call it that, here with the Milwaukee Bucks. If you had to give it a letter grade, what would you do? What would you assign Greg Monroe on his time with Milwaukee right now?
This is a tough one because there are a couple of different factors in play, and I would say it's probably about somewhere in a B-, C+ kind of area, because I think Greg Monroe has come in and really done what the team asked him to do. He's right around his career bests in points per game, rebounds.
That's true, yeah.
Which were the two things that, they came in thinking that's what they wanted to do.
You bring in a big man, you want the big man to get the ball for you on the rebound, so that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. But I think where that problem comes, Greg Monroe was also lauded as Milwaukee getting a big free agent signing, and that was definitely supposed to be a landmark point for the team, saying, yes, we can compete for big free agents, we can get guys to come to Milwaukee. There was really some concern about how bringing in a ball-dominant, non-defensively oriented big man into a team where your 3 core players are already established and you already kind of have determined the players that you want to be the cornerstones of your future.
True.
So you're looking at Middleton, Jabari, and Giannis as your 3 kind of primary players. To have another guy taking a bunch of shots and changing the offense in a way that doesn't really suit those players, I think, is a little bit of a problem. So
that is true. Yeah, I mean the Bucks team that we've seen.
He's performed well. I don't think Monroe really has fit in the way that they hoped he could.
True. Yeah, I was going to say, considering the Bucks teams that we've seen the last couple of years, not that Giannis isn't a big guy, but he's a different type of big guy than what Monroe is. And like you said, you add that different dynamic of a true big man in the post, and it changes the dynamic of a team. And I think that's still kind of a feeling out period for the Bucks as they're trying to figure out, okay, what's it like to actually have a fairly consistent, fairly reliable big man underneath that we don't always have to kick the ball out wide and try to shoot from distance all night long.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, one of the last things that also we want to chat about with you is we're chatting with Mitch Vomhof here on Bucksketball.com here on the BG Sports Show was the trade deadline was just a little bit over a week ago, and a lot of rumors even circulated about Greg Monroe, and I heard MCW's name getting tossed around a little bit too, Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
Are you upset or not about what the Bucks did at the trade deadline?
I'm generally not. I would say not upset with what happened at the deadline. Because going into it was hard to see any kind of really big move coming for the Bucks, because they've already pretty well established the players that they want to keep around and the players they want to build around.
Yes.
And everyone else on the roster who doesn't necessarily fit that doesn't necessarily have a lot of value in a trading sense. So there wasn't really a big return to be had, and I know there were enough rumors out there of them being fairly active in seeking out trades. They were linked to Ricky Rubio. They looked at Jeff Teague of the Hawks. Somebody even mentioned Kendall Marshall. There was a rumored Greg Monroe for Drew Holiday switch. So I think there's a lot happening out there, but from what best I can tell, the asking prices for some of these players or just the fit of the deal didn't work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the thing where a team can be active at the trade deadline even if they're not making any moves. And that's kind of how I feel the Bucks were, where they were definitely out there looking around, trying to make something happen, but sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just kind of how it works sometimes. You hear about that in any sport, whether it be, the NFL or MLB or NBA as well. I mean, there's all the rumors and all the speculation, but until a player actually has his bags packed and he's pretty much even until he's on the court in the team's jersey, the deal is never officially done. So, all right, Mitch, before we let you go, if you had to give out a mid-season MVP at this point, I know that the All-Star break was a couple of weeks ago, but at this point in the season, if you had to give out an MVP or a most surprising award, whichever one you really want to give, it's your award. So who would you give that name to? Or who would you give the award to?
I think I'd have to give my MVP, and this is, there's a little bit of recency bias in it, but I think Giannis Antetokounmpo has really come on and shown he's taken a next step in his development as a player. Obviously a couple nights ago he had the triple-double, which was huge, for being noticed around the league and for his own development. But you're just seeing a kid who is taking a couple more jumpers. He's starting to develop his shot. He's really also coming into his own as a facilitator, which is going to be important for a team that kind of has historically had trouble finding good distributors. Giannis is still kind of the player that they are hinging all their hopes on and really investing in as a cornerstone of the future, and he's started to pay that off this season, and that's enough to earn a most valuable award from me.
Quick follow-up with Giannis on that one. Do you think in the near future we might see a larger, longer-term contract deal going to Giannis?
Yeah, certainly. He's obviously got one more year on his rookie deal. I wouldn't be surprised to see an extension for him in the next year or two. The other factor there is that the salary cap is going to be rising pretty dramatically in the next couple of years.
Yes, yeah.
So it would behoove the team to get a deal done sooner rather than later.
Yep.
So that they have a little more space to work with. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they worked out an extension maybe this offseason or definitely sometime in the next year before he hits restricted free agency.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we've just had the opportunity to speak with Bucksketball.com's Mitch Vomhof. Thank you so much, Mitch. Mm-hmm. Where can people find you on social media?
You can obviously find me at Bucksketball.com. It's like basketball with Bucks in the first half. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Mitch Vomhof. It's Vomhof with one F. Find me there. Catch up.
Sounds good. All right, Mitch, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Baxter. Glad you could have me.
Anytime. All right, we're going to run to a break. When we come back, we've got more exciting sports action to get to. You're listening to the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the BG Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for tuning into the show today. We've had a great show. Sonya Kondratenko of Kick TV has been here. David Kenyon of Bleacher Report's been here. Connor Christensen has been here. And Bucksketball.com's Mitch Vomhof just joined us on the program as well. Wow, it's Thursday already. Thursday. It's so hard to know what day it actually is just because of the fact that I'm at work from about 11:30 p.m. the night before to about 5:30 a.m. the next morning. So it's very hard for me to actually realize what day it is. So, it's a beautiful thing, though. You work things out and you have fun with it and you figure it out. That's why I had coffee at 12:30 in the afternoon. All right, well, real fast before we let things roll today, we want to take a look at what's trending in the sports world. I'm going to start with the soccer story first, just because I love soccer. The LA Galaxy and Santos Laguna battled to a scoreless draw last night in the Game 1 of Champions League quarterfinals. On the other side of it, Real Salt Lake lost 2-0 in their game, which was unfortunate. But the LA Galaxy have a new and revamped team this year with all their off-season signings. So I'm curious to know what they actually end up doing with all of those exciting players. They got guys like Nigel de Jong on their team now, Ashley Cole, for any of you English soccer fans out there, you'll remember Cole's name. You might have remembered de Jong's name as well for the fact that he basically 300 kicked... was it Arjen Robben? No, he plays for... No, shoot. I can't remember who he Spartan kicked now. But either way, there's a meme out there. Just go search Nigel de Jong and you'll see him just drop kicking somebody, basically. So it's quite fun. Quite fun, indeed. Let's see. What else is going on today? Tiger Woods is posting photos that he is back working hard on his rehab efforts to get back and better than ever. Albert Pujols, the Los Angeles Angels, saying that his contract has been named one of the worst deals ever in baseball, at least by ESPN. They're saying that he's been making way too much money for the level of production at this time in his career. An interesting one, though, that I think that does warrant a quick little shout-out, though, is Auburn running back Peyton Barber. He says that he is entering the NFL draft because his mother is homeless and he wants to become an NFL player for her. That way he can give her a home and give her an opportunity to have a chance at a new life, which I think is absolutely admirable and respectable and honorable and all those other herbal words that you can offer out. So best of luck to you, Peyton Barber. Hope that you are able to fulfill your dreams in that one. The last one here, let's see what else we got going on. Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's how you say it, jeepers. Apparently there's a video out showing him trying fancy cocktails as well, so if you look for something to do, go and try that out and see what it's like to see a big wrestler having a cocktail. I don't know. I don't make the news, I just report it. All right, one other thing, too, before we let you go. Today's show has been sponsored by Ticket Liquidator as well. If you're looking for tickets to the next big game or event, go and check out Ticket Liquidator. You can call them today at 855-839-7889. I'll be honest, I hate having to go through all the different websites to try to find the tickets to, if I'm trying to go catch a Packers game or a Revolution game if they're down in Chicago, or if I just want to go catch a hockey game or take my wife to a nice, Friday or Saturday night concert. Ticket Liquidator has been able to has helped me numerous times get out of a pinch and at a great price as well. You can call them at 855-839-7889 and they will help you out with no matter where you're looking to go. They have a 125% money back guarantee and they offer tickets at 15% lower than normal competitors. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the BG Sports Show today. I've been your host, Baxter Colburn. I'm excited to bring the action back to you again on Monday. Don't have too much fun over the weekend. Well, have a little bit of fun. Celebrate. I'm going to be working a double shift, so someone's got to produce the local radio programming content here. So you enjoy your weekend. I will enjoy my weekend, and we will do this all again back and better than ever on Monday. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you can get us right here on Spreaker.com from 1 to 2 p.m. Central on Mondays and Thursdays, and from 4 to 6 p.m. on SportsRadioAmerica.com and on the TuneIn app as well. The BG Sports Show on Facebook, at BG Sports Show on Twitter, and at Baxter Colburn. Thanks again. We'll see you all on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.